today I've been waiting for this really interesting package which has finally arrived. I've been looking forward to getting this for a while right now. So I'll give you one clue, which is Dom's, the most famous video on my channel, which is the Dom's 36 watercolor cake set. I've got the smaller version of it, which is here, the 24 color set, and I'm so excited to try this out. Very excited about this. So this I got for INR 200. I bought this on Amazon. Even the 36 set I had bought it on Amazon. I will leave the links in the description for you to purchase these individually. So I had really loved the 36 color set. I still use it to make a lot of paintings, so I'm quite excited today to try this out and see if this set is worth buying and if this is a good way for you guys to start off your watercolor journey as compared to the 36 one. So join me today in unboxing and reviewing this set, and we'll also make a very interesting painting towards the end. Alright, let's have a closer look now at this package and unbox it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is remove this cover on top. That's extremely noisy packaging. So this is what the set looks like. It has a plastic glass case and it says over here that it's premium grade for students, and there's one brush inside this pack. It has 24 shades which are mentioned over here. These are watercolor cakes and they are 30 mm. And is there anything else which is important? Like I said earlier, this is for MRP 200. Alright, so let's all cut this out as well. I think this is very differently packed from before, or it's the same. I'm not able to recollect that, but okay. Alright, so this looks very similar to the 300 one. It's just slightly 36 colors, 300 rupees one. But it is slightly smaller in size because of the lesser number of colors. But at first glance, I can see that there are very nice colors. One very interesting thing is they have divided the colors. If you notice, let me open the box and show you. So this is how you open it. You pull it out of here. And when you open it, this side are all of my colors and here are all of my wells. You can see tiny wells over here. So these act as palette for you. So the only thing you will need to remember, which I do a mistake every time, is each time I take a color from here and I put it on this, I put on the exact corresponding one. But when you close it, if I have gray here, it will close on the black. So you just have to be careful about that. It's not a big problem, but aesthetically, if you're somebody who likes color on color, then you must keep track of that. So like I was saying, one very interesting thing I've found about the placement of the colors in the palette is you can see how this is like red and all the colors above it, and if you mix white, what happens with it. So this is like it goes from yellow to brown. So these are all the warm colors are together and then all the cool colors are together. So it's a brilliant division of colors which they have done. So I'm quite excited to try out the swatches of all of this and we'll paint something together. This is the round brush that is with it. It has synthetic hair. It's a round brush and it will have really sharp edge, okay, because it's glued together. So all you need to do is dip it in water and then it will, all the glue will come out and then you can use the brush. So we will use this brush today. We'll create first swatches of this entire thing and we'll paint something very fun. Alright, I've got my swatch book over here. This is 300 GSM watercolor paper. I've got my cup of water. So once I dip the brush inside, you will notice that it's not sharp anymore on the tip. It's become flexible because all the glue is gone. And then let's start now by creating the swatches of these colors. The first thing I'm going to try is from probably, no, I think I should try from the top. They don't have names of the colors, but that's fine. It's so creamy. I'm going to show you a close-up. You can see how creamy this is. And I'm going to try this out now on the paper. I'm going to gradate it, taking a little bit of water and gradating this down. It's a very vibrant and a bright color, so I like that. Let me now show you all the swatches together. along with the colors. Here's the next one. We'll try and recreate maybe a similar one over here. It's a good idea to always create swatches for any watercolors that you're using. It gives you a good idea of which colors you want to use in your painting. It also helps you to understand how your colors are. The way they look over here will be very different from how they are on paper. So it's a good idea to understand your colors. So far, I really like the colors. It's very similar, of course, to the 36 one, where they have most of these colors and just another 12 more. But it's so creamy and it feels very good to use it. There's no cakiness. In this first one, there is a little bit of cakiness also because I think I took a little less water. I can go over it again. I can just take a little bit of water and this will smoothen out. So this also really is a good sign of the kind of colors that are there. This is their gray. The cup that I'm using is from Montmartre. I like this cup. I recently got it for travel painting. So it's become like a part of my work studio right now. The brown is wonderful. So for the price, I think these are so good. Also, it's very easy to use. You can carry it around with you. You can use the other side as a palette. You can end up mixing your colors. We will learn together how to mix colors very soon. I'm planning to introduce videos of teaching watercolors from scratch, where I teach you guys how to mix your colors, how to make basic paintings. So if you have any suggestions, if there are specific things you would like to learn from me, then do leave your comments here below this video so I can have a look at that and I can plan accordingly. The brush is also nice. I like the brush. Sometimes synthetic hair brushes or I think beginner brushes are very, very hard to use. The bristles keep coming off and it just is very messy. With this, I haven't really felt that problem. There are, of course, 2 strands which are out. You can see over here. So all you need to do is just wait it out and see if it does not go back into the form. Then you will need to just take a pair of scissors and cut them out. This is the black. It's very dark and vibrant. And it moves into a nice light gray. So you can do your gradation in different ways. You don't need to also do gradations. This is just to help you to understand that watercolor, one pigment can be made into so many different shades by just varying the amount of water that you add. So on the leftmost is when you add least amount of water, and when you start adding more, it definitely gets lighter. And it is pretty transparent and it's really fun to play around with it. You can even keep, changing your water each time you gradate. Especially if you're a beginner and you're not able to gradate the first time, remember it's completely okay. You don't have to master it the very first time. You just need to enjoy the medium. You need to have fun with it. You need to experiment and see what works best for you. So each person, each artist has a very different medium that is their calling, that works very well in their style. That's something that they want to keep using over and over again. So when I see budget-friendly art supplies like these, I think these are perfect time for you to experiment different kinds of mediums which are out there and figure out if that gives you any joy, if that works with the style of art that you create. This is their flesh tint or peach. I would like to call it peach. I love this color. It's like a nice bubblegum pink. You can see it's a little lighter on the sheet as compared to on the cake. So this is swatching is also very important. for you to figure out how your colors really are. We'll also try to mix a couple of colors and see how it works when we are mixing our colors. With gradation, it seems to be working fine so far. I've got a dark green now. I like the consistency of the dark green. It's quite good. We've got the last two greens of this set. There's also white, which I haven't swatched because it's white sheet paper. You can't really see it. So you can use your white to mix with the other shades to get lighter shades. But just remember that once you mix the white with any other color, it will start losing the transparency. It will become a little opaque. It will start getting translucent. I'll show you one sample over here. Okay, so while these dry out, I'm going to take some white and put it in the palette here. I'm putting it here so that you can see it in the video and not on the top. Okay, I've got white here. I'm gonna wash my brush, pick out probably a pink or a red. So I'll mix it with red, so we'll see if it changes the color. So you can see it's creating a nice pink. And I can add some water to it. If I add less water, it's going to be pretty opaque. If I add more water, it is still able to create a very nice color. Just remember, water is the key. You need to add good amount of water to make sure that it still stays transparent. Since these are cakes, it is not making it very opaque. I'm really happy about that. It's giving me lots of ideas of different things that we can create with these colors right now. But it still has like pretty, similar consistency as before. That's become really dull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the white with black, so we can see the difference in that. I want to mix some more white to get a lighter shade of green. Yeah. This is very nice. This is quite interesting. It is still able to maintain its transparency. Like I was saying before, that was my fear, whether it will not maintain its transparency as earlier. That's what happens normally with tube paints, but this is brilliant. So you can mix the white with all of these shades over here and you can create an entire pastel palette. So I'm going to do that as well, so you get an idea, because you may have already seen how these swatches are in the other video, so which is the 36 colors. So I think this is also a good idea for you guys to have a very clear understanding of how to mix white with all of your colors to get a pastel palette. Okay, so I've got a sheet over here and I'm going to create the pastel swatches side by side on the sheet, because I want to show you the pastel versus the original colors together, so you can have a clear idea of what the difference is like. So what I'm taking is now some white and I'm going to start mixing it. So I'm going to start again with the same color. So I'm going to do that here. So that was some fun mix up. Okay, so I've got a nice color. So I've mixed a lot of white for this, okay, which is why I've got a nice light shade, because I want it to be like pastels, like macaroons. If you guys are fans of macaroons, then you will enjoy this. Very similar, these two look. Just making sure I get my cloth. So what I'm noticing is when I take the white color, it's pretty thick. It's not very light. It's not very thin, which is why I think these entire set of DOMS paints are very nice to use, because the pigments are pretty strong. If you've made paintings with this, then you can definitely send them to me on my Instagram page. I've left the link in the description below. Okay, now I'm trying this orange. So you can play around with the amount of white that you add. You can sometimes add more white, sometimes you can add less white. And if you're confused how I'm doing the gradation, I will tell you like step by step right now when I'm doing this. So I've taken some white, I've taken this light orange, mixing it over here. I'm adding a little bit of color and then washing my brush, taking a little water, keeping it at the edge of the color here, and then just pushing the color out so it becomes lighter. So I'm going to try with the water there so you can see the colors more evidently. The next is my second line, so I'm starting with this gray. Already it is light, so gray is formed by mixing white and black. So I'm creating like a more lighter version than what is already over there. I'm now going on to the next one. It's not a great idea to always take the color directly, like with the white brush. You don't have to move over here in the brown. Eventually you'll realize that you are able to manage it like how I'm able to manage it right now. But if you're a beginner who's watching this video and you're creating, you're mixing two colors, make sure that each time you take one color, you wash the brush and then move on to the second one. If you're creating a swatch sheet like me and you feel like you don't want to keep going back and forth with the washing the brush each time, then have two brushes, one for mixing your white, taking your white from here and putting it onto your palette, and the other one for mixing the colors. So why am I recommending a separate brush for white is you don't want to ever damage your white color. Do not mix any dark color with the white. It's very hard to clean it out. It would be a disaster. So you don't want to go through that. So that's alright. So need some more color. So watercolors, water paints are normally water soluble, so you can always go back on this and add another layer on top. That's going to give you a lot of different kinds of results. So that's the speciality of watercolors. So with yellow, you will feel like you're not seeing much change, but when I keep probably both the sheets together, you will be able to see some amount of difference. It's subtle, but it's nice. We will also try out color mixing for a few colors and see how the DOMS colors reacts to that. So right now it's black and white, so the next is this very interesting purple. You can also create another shade card where you mix everything, which is you mix black with all of the colors, you will get different shades. What we are creating now, these pastel colors, is also called as tint because you're mixing white with all of the colors. If you mix grey, you will get something called as tones. It's raining beautifully outside over here. Rains and painting is such a fun time. So the last few colors, now I've got a nice Prussian blue. So this with white is giving me a nice color. Like I can add more white. I think in this one, this particular blue, I've added lesser white and more blue. But I can add more white and make it much lighter. Like the next one, this is the cobalt blue. I've taken very little blue and a lot more of white. Moving on to the next blue, which looks like a cerulean blue. This is such a nice color. It's a beautiful sky blue color that you get when you mix it with white. So definitely experiment with this. I have the off peach, not off white, but the peach now. It's very, very light, extremely light with the white. It's almost like it's not there. This is interesting. The pink looks so different on the cakes and so different over here on paper. Next I have a very nice green. This is already like a pastel green only. So adding more white is going to make it a little more vibrant to see. This is like a nice olive green, but like a happier version of it. So adding white is still making it quite nice to see. Oops, my white has got some green on it. So I'll show you how you can like quickly clean that up after I make this swatch. So if I want to clean up this white, I'm just washing my brush, making sure there's very less water in it, and I'm just going to like take the top layer out. And with that I can still clean it, but don't put a lot of colors. I've seen a lot of people do that. They mix everything on the palette. It's good to have fun, but if you are looking to like learn how to do color mixing and things like that, then if you have your colors all over, it might be very difficult for you to get the actual color which is there at the base, because there'll be some residue of some other color, so you don't really want that. So here are the colors, the tints that I have created from this set, with like almost equal white and equal color, and these are the original colors. So there's a very, very minute difference, or a very fun shade that you can see over here. So everything has a lighter and darker version. So for example, over here you can see there's a lighter version of these colors, and especially for the blues. So this is the darker version, and this is here the lighter version. So you can see if you add white, this is how it becomes. So experiment with it. You can add a lot more white than what I have done over here, and you can create your own palettes. It'll help you to pick out the colors, thinking that if you're making a painting, maybe you want different shades of blue for the sky and then the sea, then you can pick out this, which is their original pigment, and then the original pigment, and then you can decide that I want these two colors. So you know that you have to mix white to get those two colors. So this is with the swatches. I so far definitely a big thumbs up, because I think the pigments are nice, the colors are bright, beautiful, it's easy to mix, and there's not a lot of trouble. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to mix the colors and how this reacts when colors are mixed, and then we'll do some painting where we experiment with layering. Alright, so we're going to first try out mixing of colors. So I'm going to take a couple of colors and try and mix them. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to mix some blue with yellow. So I've got some blue here on my palette. So if I mix, it's a nice, beautiful green. So the mixing of colors works really well. When we mixed white with everything, that is also mixing of colors. So that did give like a good idea of how it works when colors are mixed. Let's try one more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this red, add that here, and we'll take some yellow, and we'll see if we can create a nice orange, or like something close to an orange. So I'll need, it's become a little lighter, but I want it to be even more an obvious orange, so I'm going to take more yellow. Yeah, this is a nice orange. going to take some water and just gradate it. Cleaning my brush because you can see that I can go even lighter. So it goes from an orange to a very nice bright golden yellow. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some layering on this now to show you. So by layering, it means that you're just adding one color on top of another. So I'm taking some more red and I'm dropping it on the side over here. So this is wet on wet, where my base is also wet and the color that I'm adding is wet. So it's easier to blend it. Gradation that we did earlier was wet on dry. So it does work really well with this technique of layering. I like how it is so far. So we're going to let this dry, and meanwhile I'm going to bring my sketchbook out again and we will create a beautiful small painting. Alright, so what we're going to do today is a nice cute little pumpkin. So you can also make this into a cartoon if you want to, just give it like a nice cute little face, some eyes. Currently I'm just going to like probably not add, but you can. There's no hard and fast rule about it. So in this, we can also learn about the shading, we can learn about the shadows and everything with that. So I'm going to use the same brush. It's a little small, this brush, for a piece of this size, but since this is broken down into multiple sections, you're still able to use this brush. So I'm going to start off first with a lighter shade. I'm mixing these two yellows. I don't want it to be too light. Okay, and just adding it like this. Make sure that you have like enough water mixed with your colors. And with watercolors, you will have to be slightly quick. I'm using this orange right now as it is, because there's a nice mix which is already done of this particular color, so I don't have to like mix it again. So I'm adding it next to the yellow, and you'll notice that the colors are mixing together because the yellow was little wet. Oops, we just had a power outage. Okay, so now I'm going to take slightly darker orange and I'm going to add next to it. So you'll have to be again little quick. Now what you do if you're not so fast is you will just take a little bit of water and then mix the colors together, okay, like we did for the gradation, layering. I'll show you how to do that. So right now, if you see, this yellow is only till here, but I would like it to come a little outside. So you just take some water and then just pull the color out. Don't mix these two colors too much because I want each section to be shown separately. I want the colors to stand out. So I'm going to take some more darker orange, add it over here. Okay. So far I really like how the colors are merging with each other. I don't see like very strong pigments standing out. So that's generally a problem when you're using student grade colors. It'll be chalky, it'll not be very nice and fun to work with. So I avoid using it because of that. But DOMS I have found is one of the best ones with the student color. So I've got a light green over here, adding it on this side. Then I'm going to pick some dark green, add it next to it, and some more darker green, which is the third dark shade we're using, and next to it over here. So using some water now to just blend this down. Now since I have been painting for a while, I'm able to manage two colors next to each other. But if you're a beginner, then wait for each section to individually dry and then maybe go to the green, or do all of these sections in the same way I have done. Wait for this to completely dry out and then go to the green. Otherwise the orange and green will tend to merge with each other, especially if you have like a lot of water going on. I want to add a little darker shade over here, but if I add this red directly, it's going to be very strong. So I'm mixing this with an orange to make a darker orange. And again in this, since you're layering, go a little lesser with your color, see how it looks, blend it in, do all the gradation, the shading, and then hold your artwork back and decide if you want to add more colors after that or not. So So quickly washing my brush, taking very little water and just smoothing this down. Sometimes if you take a lot of water, then you will end up lifting the color off. I still want like a hint of that color to be there. So I'm not being very strong, like my strokes are not too strong. Mixing a little orange to have a little lighter color to add on the top areas over here. Okay. I really like how the pumpkin is coming out. Okay. So a little darker color towards the bottom, using some more orange. There's no limit to the number of layers that you want to add. Keep experimenting, have a lot of fun with your painting. I think that's what makes the painting extremely nice and beautiful. I'm going to use some gray and some black to create the shadow. Since the light is coming from this side, our shadow will be on the other direction. I'm not sure if you can hear the rains. It's been raining very beautifully today here. So if you don't want a sharp shadow, just take a little bit of water and around the edges, just smoothen it down. So this is just to give you an idea of the different kinds of shadows that you can create. So each person has a very different idea of the kind of style that they want and how they want it to reflect. So I'm just adding a little bit of black here to have a lighter to a darker shadow. So it's darker closer to the pumpkin, and as it goes out it becomes a little lighter. So this is what my pumpkin looks like and I really like it. I am not going to do a black outline on this. If you want to, you can. I will just give you maybe a little hint of what it may look like, but I will do the outline today with just the brush, so you get an idea whether you can do thin lines with this. I'm not very sure if you can, so I'm going to try for... You can, you just have to be careful how you hold the brush. Don't put a lot of pressure, and you do the outline only after it is completely dried. So there is a chance that I may get some, my colors may blend, because I think mine has not fully dried, so I'm just going to try and manage it. So if you notice, I have not made full sharp close lines. I'm making like broken lines, because that always looks much nicer. It looks so much more organic. So it's a lot of fun to do that. And don't forget, every time we create a beautiful painting, sign it. So this is what the Dom's colors are like. I absolutely love this set of 24 colors. And here is my swatch sheet for the tints that I created. Do create your fun swatch sheets, and it'll help you to decide what kind of color story you like for your paintings. So I hope this video was useful for you, and I will see you guys very soon for the next one. Bye bye.